Welcome back to Donington Park. The race very much on for the lead at the moment. Alex Martin coming under pressure from Martin Short. Shorty's done a superb job of hauling his Ferrari onto the tail of the GTC. In fact, both of these cars running in GTC. Martin's entry, as we said in part one of the programme, was very late on, so there was a lot of paperwork to get these cars correctly sanctioned into their various groups. Martin down the inside, you can see, probably with the advantage of the aerodynamics on the back, the rear wing probably negated a little bit. Spin there for Peter Jennings in the FF Corsa machine running in GTC. Peter hopefully will get that back on track. Qualified down in 17th position. Ian Loggy making progress, recovering through the field and chasing Sean Winder in the Ferrari 430 GTO class car. As we continue to look at Loggy trying to get back on terms, you can see the stranded Butler Motorsport BMW of Don Grice in the gravel, and that's the Spy Motorsport car out of the race, and that's going to necessitate the MSV safety car. Well, a good call from the organisers there to scramble the safety car, clear up the cars that were causing problems on the circuit. The pit lane window is now open. As you saw, everybody in pit lane being ready. It's a cracking restart by Alex Martin. Several cars coming in. I think that's Jordan Wick coming in to have his driver change as well. I say driver change, coming in for his break in all reality. Down to Redgate, Martin Short, you can see using a little bit more of the circuit than Alex Martin, still the race leader. Conditions very difficult. Spin there for Barclay Dougal. Second BMW we've seen struggling. The E46 is back on track though. Battle on for the lead. Short looks down the inside and he's gone through. Martin Short goes through into lead position. Runs a little bit wide now, and Alex Martin's going to look through on the inside line. Shorty did look the quicker car out of the two. Down the straight into the Fogarty S's once again. You can see a little bit of a drier line starting to happen as Kevin Riley takes the spin in the Mosler. And that's the car, of course, that is synonymous with Martin Short, the race leader. Lee Mole in the yellow Ginetta G50 goes out. There is Derek Johnston trying to go through, and the pit area now extremely busy. This race on day one of the two-day meeting, exactly what the drivers wanted. Martin Short pulling out a little bit of breathing space now over the second place car, Alex Martin. Seamus Jennings having handed over to Phil Andrews. Most of the meetings that we have this year for GT Cup will feature a two-driver race as well as two sprint races. Things a little bit crowded here. Rupert Martin in the yellow and red Ferrari Challenge, very much in the thick of things. Down the Craner curves they come. Conditions not really abating. You can see from the camera here down at the old hairpin that there is a slightly drier line, but not anything that's enabling anybody to significantly speed up. As we look at the GTA 996 of Chris Bentley, John Clonis now at the wheel. So positions sorting themselves out quite nicely. Derek Johnston with M-Tech boss Mike Edmonds taking over the reins in part two of the race, making very good progress and working his way through the field. So the reigning champion car about to put some pressure as they come down into the Fogarty S's. You can see really getting off onto the slippery stuff here. And that might be a danger. We've already seen the car off the circuit once, but the move's pulled off very well indeed. And the GTO car goes through. Now, Ian Loggie's car coming out of the pits. Ian handing over to Chris Jones. So Chris Jones at the wheel now. Johnston making the move around the outside of Sean Winder, so that's another manoeuvre pulled off. Another place ticked off on the recovery drive for the reigning champion. Johnston racing actually the same car that he contested last year. Rupert Martin still running well. Out of the pits after his break comes Martin Short. So Martin in GTC, the Roll Centre prepared car, the man from Cambridge doing well.
Seamus, I know you've been out there already. Just tell us what the conditions like on the track.
Very, very hairy. It's very wet. There's a lot of spray, very slippy. There's been quite a few spills, so there's stones, little pebbles on, some muck. I actually had a spin myself, but luckily I was able to recover it and put it back onto the track. I can't see a dry line yet. We've just pit stopped, changed our driver over to Phil Andrews, my co-driver. So we're hoping that maybe a dry line just might start to appear. And there's a lot of traffic, a lot of guys bunching up behind each other, so it's very difficult.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Seamus Jennings, the driver of the number 30 Ferrari 458 Challenge, who's completed his stint. And as you heard, handing over to Phil Andrews. Oh, spin there for David Barker. I think that he's taken over the Optimum Motorsport Ginetta G50. As we said, still tricky. Good recovery, though, from Barker. Alex Martin still running well after his break. Lee Mosley recovering as well. Still Martin Short out front. As we see the 98 Chevron GT3, Jordan Witt. Jordan up to fourth in the race, and there's no more progress going to be made by the Mole Barker G50, which winds up in the gravel. Actually, he's keeping going, so he might be able to get through the gravel and carry on as we go back to the race leader, Martin Short. So at the moment, it's Martin Short in GTC leading the GTO AF Corsa Ferrari 458 GT3 of John Dillon and Aaron Scott. But Martin Short will be very, very pleased with what's happened thus far in this race. A pretty good lead of over 15 seconds at this stage of the race, which is marvellous. You saw Ian Dockerell's Porsche lined up there on exhibition straight out of the race. So just 3 retirements actually so far. You saw Don Grice out before the break in part 1, but here comes Martin Short. Down the straight here at Rockingham to take the first win of the season. He'll add that to the 3 wins that he took last year. Last year, of course, he was racing the Mosler. This year, in the Ferrari 458 Challenge, he wins overall, takes the GTC win. And he's got 2 more sprint races to look forward to and enjoy. John Dillon, Aaron Scott second, Alex Martin in third, then Jordan Witt in the Chevron. GTB won by Nick and Harry Whale. Then it was Derek Johnson and Mike Edmonds, Mike Donovan, Ian Loggie and Chris Jones in 8th position. GTA won by Richard Chamberlain in the Lotus Elise. He finished in 12th position overall. So a good opening to the season for Richard and the Lotus Spark.
Martin, congratulations. Tricky conditions, but overall not a bad race for you.
Absolutely not a bad race at all. It was a blooming fantastic race, actually. Started 6th on the grid and won overall by I think 12 or 13 seconds. It's first outing in this championship with the Ferrari 458. It's a car we've been developing this year, and first time I've driven it properly in the wet, and it was absolutely mustard. Really enjoyed it. Great tactical race, lots of decisions to be made, and well done Butte Motorsport for coming out with this 40-minute format. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it.
John, congratulations. You must be really pleased with your result.
I'm ecstatic. Started off today with a bit of a backward strategy, if you like. We had the pro driver go out, Aaron Scott, and had a few problems with the car. Brought the car in, I was going to take over, and there was an oil leak, so I didn't get out this morning. And obviously the mixed conditions in qualifying, that didn't help at all. Safety car and everything. I mean, the start of the race, I stayed very composed. Everybody was firing off everywhere. I just was going through the middle, round the side. It was pretty lonely, actually, the race. I was third most of the time, and I got a bit of action towards the end.
Congratulations, guys. First in your class and 5th overall. That's a brilliant result.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great to meet my dad as well. This is our first shared race together. Again, I have to say a big thanks to Inti Racing. The car set up really well. Car went mega. Really good fun, and yeah, really good day.
Unpredictable conditions all day. I mean, that couldn't have been easy for you.
Well, it wasn't, particularly at the start. It was very, very wet, and I'm afraid to say I did have a little moment and went straight on at the chicane. I did think it was all over at that point, but we managed to get back on, and I was proud of my young son here to pull back the deficit that his stupid father had caused him. But as Harry said, great to be in the same race. We've never been in the same race.
Richard, great day for you. Unpredictable conditions, but you turned everything around.
It was brilliant fun. The car is better in the wet than the dry, so we just had marvellous fun. It was pretty difficult. First, 5 or 10 laps, you couldn't see a thing. It was just driving into a wall of spray, which is never very nice and very, very slippy, but just got to keep going.
Okay, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's the end of the first race here at Donington. 2 sprint races tomorrow to look forward to, so we'll see you there.